the annals of British legal history, few cases have sparked as much controversy and debate as that of Eliza Fenning, a young servant girl who was executed in 1815 for allegedly attempting to poison her employer's family. The case is often cited as a miscarriage of justice, highlighting the flaws in the legal system of the time and the harsh realities faced by domestic servants in early 19th century England. This tragic story is a potent reminder of the dangers of circumstantial evidence, the biases of the legal system, and the consequences of public opinion in the administration of justice. Eliza Fenning was born in 1793, the daughter of a soldier. By 1815, she was 22 years old and working as a domestic servant in the household of Orlibar Turner, a law stationer who lived at 68 Chancery Lane in London. The household included Turner's wife, Charlotte, their 2 children, and his apprentice, Robert Gregson. Eliza had been in the Turners' employ for a few months and was generally well regarded as a diligent and trustworthy servant. The events leading to Eliza's trial began on March 21, 1815, when Charlotte Turner instructed Eliza to make some yeast dumplings for the family's dinner. Eliza prepared the meal, and the dumplings were served to the Turners, Gregson, and herself. Shortly after the meal, all 5 individuals became violently ill, suffering from severe stomach pain, vomiting, and other symptoms consistent with poisoning. The family physician, Dr. Girdwood, was called to the scene and diagnosed the illness as arsenic poisoning. An investigation quickly ensued, focusing on Eliza Fenning as the prime suspect. The Turner family claimed that Eliza had been the only person who had access to the kitchen and had prepared the dumplings. Additionally, they alleged that Eliza had exhibited suspicious behavior, such as smiling inappropriately during the meal and later expressing an unusual interest in the health of the family members. Eliza Fenning was arrested and brought to trial at the Old Bailey on April 11, 1815. The prosecution's case was built almost entirely on circumstantial evidence, as there was no direct proof that Eliza had placed arsenic in the dumplings. The primary evidence against her included the fact that she had prepared the meal and that traces of arsenic were allegedly found in the dumplings and the remains of the dough. During the trial, it was revealed that arsenic was commonly used in households at the time for various purposes, including pest control, and that it was easily accessible. The defense argued that the arsenic could have accidentally contaminated the dumplings, or that someone else in the household could have introduced it. Additionally, witnesses testified to Eliza's good character, describing her as an honest and hard-working young woman. However, the prosecution painted Eliza as a malicious and vengeful servant who had poisoned the family out of spite or jealousy. They emphasized her alleged inappropriate behavior during the meal and suggested that she had a motive to harm the Turners. The judge, Sir John Sylvester, was unsympathetic to Eliza and appeared to be biased against her, often interrupting the defense and steering the jury towards a guilty verdict. After a brief deliberation, the jury found Eliza Fenning guilty of attempted murder. Despite her protestations of innocence and a petition signed by over 48,000 people calling for clemency, she was sentenced to death. On July 26, 1815, Eliza Fenning was hanged at Newgate Prison, becoming one of the many young women who met a tragic end at the hands of the British legal system. Her execution was met with widespread public outrage, with many believing that she had been wrongly convicted. The press, particularly the radical newspapers of the time, lambasted the trial as a travesty of justice and criticized the judge's conduct. In the years following Eliza's death, her case continued to be a subject of controversy and debate. Some argued that she had been the victim of class prejudice, with the legal system favoring the word of her employers over that of a lowly servant. Others pointed to the flawed nature of the evidence against her, suggesting that she had been condemned on the basis of nothing more than circumstantial evidence and the biases of those involved in the trial. Modern scholars and legal historians have revisited the case of Eliza Fenning, often citing it as an example of the dangers of relying on circumstantial evidence in criminal trials. The lack of direct evidence linking Eliza to the poisoning, combined with the widespread availability of arsenic in households at the time, raises significant doubts about her guilt. Moreover, the alleged motive for the crime, Eliza's supposed jealousy or spite, appears weak and unsupported by any concrete evidence. One theory that has been proposed is that the arsenic may have been introduced into the dumplings accidentally or by someone else in the household. The Turner's apprentice, Robert Gregson, has been suggested as a possible alternative suspect, as he had access to the kitchen and may have had reasons to harm the family. However, no concrete evidence has ever been uncovered to support this theory. The case of Eliza Fenning also highlights the role of public opinion in the administration of justice. In the early 19th century, trials were often influenced by the attitudes and beliefs of the public, and the press played a significant role in shaping these opinions. In Eliza's case, the radical press was vocal in its criticism of the trial and the judge's conduct, but this was not enough to prevent her execution. The widespread public outcry following Eliza's death did, however, contribute to a growing awareness of the need for legal reform. The case became a symbol of the injustices faced by the poor and the powerless, and it helped to galvanize efforts to improve the legal system and ensure that such miscarriages of justice would be less likely to occur in the future. The tragic case of Eliza Fenning serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of a legal system that is overly reliant on circumstantial evidence and the prejudices of those in positions of power. It also underscores the vulnerability of domestic servants in the early 19th century, who were often at the mercy of their employers and had little recourse to justice when accused of crimes. In the years since her execution, Eliza Fenning has been remembered as a victim of a flawed legal system, and her case has been cited in discussions of legal reform and the importance of ensuring fairness and impartiality in criminal trials. While the true circumstances surrounding the poisoning may never be fully known, the story of Eliza Fenning remains a powerful and cautionary tale of the perils of injustice.